prime time playoff action in mid-November. The Anna Coyotes taking on the Colleyville Heritage Panthers out here in Mustang Panther Stadium. We deeply apologize for the late start, but we are so glad to have you along in the Coyotes' early playoff run. Nash Lowry alongside the fan favorite Pete Kane here on tonight's broadcast. And if you missed a little bit of the first drive, we're going to help break it down for you. It was 5 plays. It led off with Zay Gentry returning it to the 30-yard line. Edward Chumley broke up field for 6 yards. Then a pass hit to Ace Traylor for another 6 yards. That converted a first down. A deep ball thrown to Ashton Ansley. Yes, that's right. Ashton Ansley gets his first catch since October 4th against Independence. And then after another 7-yard pass, it was intercepted by Bryson Burgess. So Anna Coyotes already with 1 turnover into this first quarter, Pete.
Yeah, that linebacker stayed home. Ziondre never saw him and put the ball up across the middle, and he was able to get up high enough to get his hands on it and take it back down.
And they started this possession from about the 35-yard line, so they've already taken it forward about 20 yards as they set up with 3 receivers on the right. And immediately brought down the ball carrier was Gerard Wiley, and it looked like Carter Dietz was the one to make the first contact. So Carter Dietz gets one of the first tackles of the game for the Coyotes.
That's going to be important for us tonight, that they get these stops and keep them behind the chains. That's going to be very important all night long.
Play action pass, looking out toward the right side and too low for the intended receiver, the tight end, Luke Graves. So now to break down these 2 opponents. Anna Coyotes going 7-3 on the season in total, 7-1 in district play. They finished at 3rd place in their district, and because of that, the 4th place finisher in Anna's district would have had to play Argyle, and they are playing Argyle right now. But because they finished 3rd, they get to go up against the 2nd place in the other division, and that is where Colleyville Heritage stands. They were 8-2 overall on the season, finished 7-1 in district as well, and they were 2nd place in their division as an overthrown scramble pass going over to the side of Gerard Wiley airs over his head, and Coyotes force a 4th down, which brings out the punting unit. So Colleyville 8-2, Anna 7-3, but both of these teams are very similar in the fact that they both have quarterbacks who like to run the ball.
Absolutely. Their quarterback, Bodie Weaver, he will probably run almost as much as he throws when he gets going in the game. His tendencies are always to see if he can get to scramble out of the pocket. Once you back off your linebackers and they start running across the field, what a play. He can do damage that way.
And Zay basically just set himself up on the 10-yard line and let that one bounce for just a little bit. So now in his 2nd drive of the day so far, Ziondre Williams, throughout the whole regular season, 179 of 271 passes with a passer rating of 117.2 per game. He's totaled 2,365 pass yards as well as 28 touchdowns. This guy has been tearing up 5A. Chumley in the backfield with the 3 receivers on the right. Chumley up the middle, and he's met by 3 Colleyville Heritage Panthers after the first down gain.
Yeah, Chumley's going to be a big key to our offense tonight. He will open up the passing lanes. He'll get those linebackers moving if he keeps getting 6-7 yards a carry.
Slant pass to Ashton Ansley, and he completes it for about 15 yards before he got tackled by number 31, Chase Gibson in the secondary. Ashton Ansley, 2 receptions short in his time in this game, and now we are going to get a timeout as the pace is getting too fast for the Colleyville Heritage Panthers. So once again, if you are just joining us, Nash Lowry and Pete Kane out here in Mustang Panther Stadium. Coyotes had a 5-play first drive that ended in an interception, and then the Coyotes defense, along with Carter Dietz, stuffed down the Colleyville Heritage Panthers and forced a punt, and now are on their second drive, Pete.
Absolutely. I think getting a defensive stop this early will probably energize the offense. They're going to look to take advantage of any stop that defense gives them. And if they want to win this game, they're going to have to do that.
Right, and it's going to come from Edward Chumley. 150 carries throughout the regular season, 1,103 rushing yards. He had 5 games with over 100 yards rushing. Couple that with 21 rush TDs. He led the district in rush TDs. 2-2 with Chumley as the play action. Zai gets ransacked, and the pass was out to Ronald Bell as it was far and incomplete. So marked down an incompletion, and the quarterback pressure from, it looked like that one was Dax Heibheisen, number 12 for Colleyville.
That's what it looked like. That's the second time they've come off of that edge right there pretty quick. So I'm sure Coach Severe is taking a look at that and make a couple of changes to that. Or Coach Rigg, I'm sorry, not Coach Severe.
Going right to left in our linemen, Rylan Crawford, Marcos Rivera, Dylan Jeffers, Jesse Vasquez, and Peyton Miller as they help clear space for Chumley to get up the field on that second down for about 7. They'll mark it 7, so it'll be 3rd and 3 for Zai. Here's the handoff, back off to Chumley again. He pushes forward after the contact. Looked like the first one to get there was Darian Lloyd, and they're going to rule him 1 yard short. So this will be 4th and 1 in Panther territory, Pete.
Yeah, I mean, you have to go for this. You certainly can't kick it. You don't want to punt it. But I would look for RPO here. Give Zai the choice to throw it if he sees something downfield. But if the zone read takes the ball to Chumley, definitely give the ball to Chumley.
And this is field position where giving this ball up on a 4th and 1 is practically the same as a punt, although Zai has been averaging about 40 yards per punt this season. And the referee will call false start. Looked like there was a flinch on the left side from the wide receivers. So after a 4th and 1, it'll turn into 4th and 6, and that will bring out the punting unit, but Zai Williams will stay out there with his 40-yard average. Both teams pretty much punt about the same. Zai punts just slightly better, about 2 yards better than the Colleyville Heritage punter. And some early contact and a deep dive for the ball. I'm sure we all saw it. Dax Heibheisen dove for the ball, landed on Zai, which any contact with the punter is a personal foul. Is that right, Pete?
I don't think I've ever seen that where they, you know what? He may have tipped that. If he tipped it, then it's live ball. You can hit him. So if he got a piece of it, maybe, but yeah, just running into somebody like that, I don't think I've ever seen that knock off.
Yeah, and that tipped, I mean, even if it was tipped, Zai punted that from about the 40-yard line, and it traveled back into the end zone. So this ball will start at Colleyville Heritage Panthers, led by quarterback Bodie Weaver. Hand up the middle. He's broken off to the right side for about 11. Gerard Wiley on the carry.
Yeah, Gerard, he's averaging 5.2 yards a carry. Good running back. They rely on him a lot. He's been very effective all year long. He leads the team with 61.5 rushing yards per game, and he does have a 75-yard long.
He's got 4 rushing touchdowns on the year to couple. 1 extra lineman out there moving right to left. Here's the handoff to Gerard, and he is able to shake through a few before Carter Dietz gets his second tackle of the game. But you can see his shiftiness immediately, Pete, as he was able to dodge a few tackles in the pocket.
It's a really interesting setup when they do their zone read. That quarterback, they'll just mesh for about almost an entire second and a half, just looking at the line, deciding who's going to take off with the ball.
Foregoing the extra lineman and bringing out an extra receiver. 2-2 with the running back Rod on Weaver's left. And the handoff to Wiley once more. And play clock stands at 30. So plenty of time for Colleyville to figure out their plan on this third down conversion against a tough defense, and the ball is out, having to look back, scramble. It wants to still finished second in their district.
Really looking to take off right there.
So Coyotes facing something that they haven't really run into in a lot of their games, not scoring on not only the first possession, but the second possession is as well. And this is one of the toughest defenses that the Coyotes have gone up against all season.
Yeah, it will take exceptional work on the front five to get this thing all the way down the field and into the end zone.
Zai back to pass. He's looking over to his left. He scrambles, able to dodge a tackle, still leaning away, and a shotgun pass out to Ace Trailer as that ball was Mike Tyson out of the arms of Trailer by Bryson Burgess.
Quick pressure off the same edge right there. They're running a little bit of a delayed stunt or a delayed rush by number 12. Say his name again for me, please.
Dax Heibheisen.
Heibheisen, okay. He's running a little bit of a delayed rush that gives him time to spy on Zai a little bit in case he decides to go, but it also gives him full reign to get back there when he gets out of the pocket. So
yeah, and Heibheisen currently stands as the strong linebacker coupled with a normal middle linebacker in Madden Williams and Darian Lloyd, as there is a timeout on the field. So already 2 timeouts taken in this first quarter, Pete, and the action has been harsh, but it's also had its flaws. Neither team has managed to put up some points in this first quarter.
Absolutely. I think both of these coaches are really, really good coaches, and they understand the importance of getting out on top early. And so if it takes a timeout early on to get yourself right and to make sure you can finish the drive, then that's what you got to do. And it makes sense. I mean, both of them know what they're doing. They're really, really seasoned coaches, and they're going to make the right calls the majority of the time.
And it's also personnel. Whenever you look at the defensive personnel for Colleyville Heritage, you have the two-headed beast in the pass rushers. You have Dax Heibheisen, and you also have Demarius Logan. And Demarius Logan for Colleyville, 6.5 sacks on the season, and he has 37 quarterback hurries. 49
total tackles this season, 5th on the team. He is definitely their pass rusher. 28 hurries, that's crazy. That's almost 1 a game, or 1.5 a game.
And he's had 2 games since then, so he is definitely who Zai is looking out for. Chumley goes up the middle. He's met first by Madden Williams, and he'll get about 5 yards, but offensive line still able to create tons of space for Chumley after 11 games played.
Yeah. They're looking good already moving the ball on the ground, so we'll see if they can keep that up, if Colleyville makes any kind of adjustments to it, but it looks good so far.
So here's an adjustment that it looks like Anna has just unlocked in this game. You can see that Chumley has gone out. Ashton Ansley currently stands on the left side as the far out receiver. Zai is scrambling. He will get the first, keeping going out of bounds, and he will get shoved backward by Burgess.
So that time, 12 went around the left side, and that gave Zai a lane to get through. So.
And you had the 5 wide as well. My fault, Pete, but you had the 5 wide. You brought out Chumley, and Zai can still rip and tear through any defense he wants to.
And I think that might be part of what they just did, because Heibheisen was not even looking in the backfield. He was trying to take care of that inside slot guy.
4 rushers, and Zai scrambles once again. He was able to get forward, and we saw his pad be yanked back. But Evan Nayeta gets credit with the tackle, number 99, as Zai will gain 2 yards. 2nd and 8 on the 45.
We're screaming through this quarter, though. Good grief, it's already 2 minutes left.
And that's even with 2 timeouts being called in the first. If you weren't here with us at the beginning, Zai Williams' opening drive was concluded by an interception that he threw to Burgess, and then both teams have punted ever since. Here's a deep ball out to the side. Michael Kennedy will convert it, then it goes for the stiff arm against his defensive back, and it gains the huge gain that immediately pushes them into the Panther territory. They'll land on the 24, Pete.
Yeah, they're liking that left side matchup when they're throwing the ball. They like that a lot, it looks like. A couple of back shoulder fades.
Extra pass rush on this one. Chumley still breaking through. He had 4 Panthers on him and then broke totally free.
The guy does not stop moving his legs.
And Edward Chumley continuing to make success as he has gotten them in the red zone now. And Michael Kennedy with that previous catch, that was his 19th catch on the year for over 300 yards so far. He's averages about 42 yards per game. Zai turns around. He's got Ronald Bell in solo coverage. And there was a lot of patty caking going on between Ronald Bell and Chase Gibson. But of course, Bell initiated the contact on the man-to-man, so legal.
Brings up a pretty big third down for us right here. We are in field goal range, though.
So with the second down, they decided to go for the insurance play, or the, I should say, relatively risky play, going for the deep route to Bell. Now you have insurance, and your insurance guy, Edward Chumley, gets tackled for a nil gain by Madden Williams. So 4th down for the Coyotes as Zai heads over to head coach Seth Parr, who secured his 100th career win earlier this season and has done an amazing job as the Coyotes are on a 6-game win streak, looking to make it 7 and really stay undefeated throughout the rest of their season. 2 extra linebackers set up for Zai to work with, Rowan Nylander and Ronald Bell on the right. They create space, and Zai is forward for the first down. So 5 linemen along with 2 H-backs to provide some extra rushing bulk for Zai Williams.
Well, there was not a lot of room there either. Zai had to make that happen on the edge. So good heads-up play by him and seeing the field.
And it looks like they're going to keep with the same personnel. Looks like Zay Gentry is out there, and Chumley and Ansley get brought in. This is the 10th play of the drive, the first drive by either team so far this game that has gone into double digits. So we will get one more play before the quarter expires. Chumley barreling forward like a bowling ball, going after some pins. He gets 9 yards. That'll place them on exactly the 5 as time expires. So Coyotes knocking on the door of scoring the first points in the playoffs so far in 2024. So glad to have you with us on Coyote Vision. We will take a break and be back for the second quarter. Back here at Mustang Panther Stadium, Nash Lowry on the call along with Pete Kane here as color. And here's the handoff by Chumley. He broke forward and got the first down earlier. Now he gets the first down. Chumley with the first touchdown of the Coyotes 2024 playoff run.
Chumley doing Chumley things. The kid is so good getting through the line.
Edward Chumley, his 22nd touchdown on the season. As I mentioned earlier, 500-plus yard rushing games out of the 10 games that the Coyotes have played so far extra point up and good for Desmar Marroquin as the Coyotes take a 7-0 lead on the Colleyville Heritage Panthers.
And that was a good, complete drive all the way down the field, very, very composed, no big penalties, no big sacks. That's the consistency that you need at this time of year. When you go gold ball hunting, that's what you want is consistency.
An 11-play drive lasting a good amount of time that had a timeout in the middle of it. It started off with an incomplete pass, then had a few Zai runs throughout the middle of that. And then, of course, you had the 4th down conversion that Zai had to run forward with those 2 extra offensive linemen that got them into the red zone. And then after 2 rushes from Chumley, simply was inevitable as the Coyotes are up 7-0.
Big plays coming up for the Panthers out there. If you don't answer this score right now, Coach Parr tends to just go after you. If he can get you to get the ball back to him, he will immediately try to score as fast as he can.
And after the longest play of the drive from both sides, you know that the Anna offense as well as the Panther defense are very tired and are having their stamina tested early in this game, as is the nature of playoff high school football.
Absolutely. You're very seldom going to run into, if you're middle of your district and they're middle of their district as far as the championship standings go, you're going to be squared off with a pretty even team most of the time. Sometimes your number 4 teams out of a district can be weaker, you could say, but not in our district. We got a real chance, honestly, for all 4 teams in our district to win tonight and advance to the next round. That is just crazy to me.
That's very true. First place, Walnut Grove finished first as there is a pass off to the left side. It is completed. You got Samir Johnson running down the sideline for the first down conversion. And as I was, well, not necessarily a conversion, that was the first play of the drive, but starting off hot as they had not in their previous few drives.
Might be starting to throw it around a little bit now.
2 tight receivers in on that left side. Here's the handoff. It looked like Eric Bowen was the first one to get there, and some hard pushback. The tackle will go for Caden Banks.
Caden was there, wrapped him up, kept pushing him back. So, like I said, keeping them behind the chains, no gain on that play. Good start.
Caden Banks on the regular season, 34 solo tackles, 46 total tackles with 13 tackles for loss, as well as 4.5 sacks for the end tackle. 2nd and 10, and up the middle is Wiley. He was caught and had to judge his next move as the Coyotes pin him down to a 3-yard gain. They'll mark it a 4-yard gain. So 3rd and 6, still in Panther territory.
Pretty good job up the middle by our defensive linemen. They're really able to close the A and B gaps down. It's making for tough sledding for him up the middle. Now the off tackle run is still there, I think.
1 extra lineman, 3 wide receivers. On the right side, play action pass. He's looking toward his left. It's a go route. Now he's having to settle for the inside. It's a tip from Zay Gentry and a recovery by George Rogers. It's his 2nd interception on the year. There is a flag down that is thrown down at about the 50-yard line. And George Rogers, as it stands right now, with his 2nd interception on the season, and Zay Gentry gets the assist.
Yeah, the flag, I'm almost positive, came after it. It's going to be probably a block in the back, something like that. But that was the epitome of the tip drill right there. That's why you work on it.
So we'll see exactly what the call is here. I don't believe we have a ref mic, so we will do our best to interpret for you.
Yeah.
So the interception will stand, but an illegal block in the back, like you pointed out, Pete, will bring the Coyotes back 15 yards, but still they have possession.
They do have the ball. That's the most important thing. Yeah, it's got to be mildly terrifying to a defense to see that the tip goes into your one of last year's running backs, and he's just an open field. That's got to be mildly terrifying for your defensive coordinator.
Right, because last year Rogers took about 6 games as the Coyotes' main rusher whenever Chumley was out for a sizable amount of time, and now this season he's worked really hard and has been converted into a safety for the Coyote defense, and now has his second interception. Zy Williams with the out route, perfect route pass completion to Michael Kennedy for his 20th catch of the season.
Which is pretty impressive because he missed a number of games early in this year. So to be up to 20 already is not bad at all.
Yeah, the first time we saw of him was the Frisco Independence game, in which he scored his first touchdown. He had 3 catches for 53 yards and a touchdown in that one, but that was the first we had seen of him.
Yeah.
So once again, Chumley and Ansley out there together. Play action, and Ansley gets the screen catch, and he will go forward for the first. No, they will bring him back as he stepped out of bounds 1 yard short of the first down, but a healthy Ashton Ansley gain.
It is good to see him back out there catching the ball. That kid is a game changer when he's on fire.
Once again, Ashton Ansley had not had a in-game reception since the Independence game. He put in a healthy stint on defense. He has been on defense for most of the last games, but now just got him back on the offensive end as Chumley will run into the back of Dylan Jeffers. They look to rule it as a first down, and they do. So 1 yard gain on the 2nd and 1 for Edward Chumley, converts the first in Colleyville territory.
Yeah, I think we're about to get into the across the middle territory. I know that this is something that they want to try. They feel like the middle of that defense out there is a good place to go when you're throwing the ball. So we'll see if they get there. He's got Kennedy.
Yeah, he's looking. Scrambling out. He's having to make multiple decisions. He'll cross the plane before getting shoved back. It looked like the first one to make contact there was Madden Williams. And they will give him a 1 yard forward possession. So Zy Williams surprisingly makes a positive gain out of a scenario when none of his receivers could find an opening.
Yeah, Madden Williams is their Mike linebacker. He's been calling all the defensive calls out there, and he's definitely watching number 8 on every play.
He leads the team in solo tackles with 22, has 6 quarterback hurries along with 1 sack. 4 receivers set up on the right side for Zy to work with. He has Michael Kennedy alone on the left. Up in the middle, Rowan Nylander, the slot receiver for the Anna Coyotes, will get about a 14-yard gain to place the Coyotes on the 30-yard line.
I think Rowan is like his security blanket a lot of the time. He gets out there, he finds a spot, sets down in it, and boom, there the ball is.
Been doing amazing so far. That's 33 catches on the season for Rowan in the regular season, 359 yards. He's been averaging about 35 a game, and he's got 3 touchdowns to go along with it. Zy Williams to work 30 yards away from a touchdown. They go immediately. It looked like he's going for Ronald Bell, and Bell, that one is incomplete, looking to see if there's anything after the play, and there is not. So mark down another well-contested play from Chase Gibson. That's the matchup we're going to see. Ronald Bell against Chase Gibson tonight.
They've singled him up a few times over there. I think, so they must think that Ronald has an advantage over him, but we'll see. I think that kid's done a good job defending him all night long.
And we saw that similar play happen on the other end. It was a 2nd down whenever you had a bit of an insurance yard. Now you had 1st and 10. So here's Zy, scrambles up the middle. He'll gain about 2 as he is met hard by 2 Panthers. He'll gain actually 1. So 3rd and 9 after the 14-yard gain from Rowan Nylander.
Yeah, Madden Williams on that play, he was definitely spying Zy. As soon as Zy broke, he jumped, and he was in there on the tackle. So that kid is obviously a spy out there for Zy.
So far, 35 yards gain. They started on their own 35-yard line off of that interception. So here we go. Zy Williams looks over to his right. Ronald Bell is able to secure the catch. Amazing route running by Ronald Bell. That ball was thrown just behind him, and he adjusted. But once again, you're in this situation, 4th and short in opposing territory, and none of the personnel is changing, Pete.
Nope, I think he's definitely going to be really aggressive tonight. That's what it looks like to me. Especially, well, the way your defense is played. I mean, you got them down here, and they get the ball at the 23. You know, it's not dropping the ball at the 50. So
3 receivers set up on the right. Chumley on Zai's right as well. 5 rushers. Chumley's going to have to evade and evade. He cannot. Tackle for loss for Bryson Burgess. It's his 2nd tackle for loss of the game, and that was a 4th down. So the Coyotes come up fruitless on their 4th drive of the game, still lead 7-0.
That's like we said early on. It's going to be back and forth, really evenly matched up bunch, and I think it's going to be like that all night long. Just minimize your mistakes. You can be aggressive, but your defense has to back you up on it, and I think that's what he's expecting to happen. So,
and that was one play away from a 10-play drive. It was 9 plays, had a lot of show out from Michael Kennedy and Edward Chumley. Carter Dietz is able to get the wrap around, the 2nd tackle for loss and 1st sack of the game for Carter Dietz.
He's lucky he held on that football. Carter came untouched off the left edge and got there in a hurry.
First time we saw of Carter Dietz this season was the Denison game. He had 3 solo tackles, but overall throughout the entire season, he's had 11 solo tackles with 4 tackles for loss, make it 6 tackles for loss and his 1st sack of the season. 2nd and 14, we'll say 2nd and 14 for Colleyville, as there is some pre-snap shenanigans on Colleyville's side, as this one will be brought back for a false start.
It's very well known that shenanigans are not allowed. You just can't do that. So good call.
And that's the 2nd pre-snap mistake from Colleyville, as they had the high snap earlier in the 1st quarter.
True. That killed their drive in that, and this is not good either. 2nd and very long, at least 20.
Yep, so they're spotted on their own 16-yard line, and they got to make it all the way to the 39. So whatever math that is, just how, insane that is, that's how far they got to get for the first. Making a good first chunk into it before Josiah Smith gets credited with his 1st tackle on the game. So Gerard Wiley gaining about 7.
Wiley's not a huge running back by any stretch of the imagination, but he's very strong. Even when you put the first guy on him, he's does a lot of Chumley-like stuff where he will shake that 1st tackler.
Very similarly built running backs, Chumley, both the short and stocky, and they can also shake tackles like it's no one's business. Wide open receiver Eric Bowen will get credited with the tackle, but Luke Graves able to convert the 1st down for Colleyville.
And that is something that can happen. When you have a 2nd and really long like that, sometimes your defense will just relax a little bit because you think, oh, we're good. And that can happen to you.
Luke Graves in the regular season, 12 receptions for 166 yards. As this is a rush out to the right side, Josiah Smith with his 2nd tackle of the game. Josiah Smith in the regular season, that's his 50th solo tackle on the season. He's had more than 70 total tackles, including 2 interceptions for Anna.
He's been playing great in the 2nd half of the season, especially. Once they got settled down with the defensive look that they wanted, he has been fantastic, as well as Dietz.
So now Colleyville with some new light in this drive after the deep 1st down completion. Here's the switch handoff to Rod Wiley, and Martin Brown with the diving attempt to get that one down, as Gerard certainly would have broke for a 1st down if Martin Brown had not wrapped around him.
Yep, so 3rd and not very long, about 4. This is a dangerous situation because this is where they tend to take shots right here, but you get beat up by the run, then they pop one over the top.
And that's exactly what they did just a few plays ago with that deep pass. So extra bull, Carter Dietz initiating some pressure, forcing a run out as the quarterback Weaver will get marked 1 yard short of the 1st down. And none of them are flinching as, yes, they are in Coyote territory. And check this out, Pete. The ball is actually spotted in front of the first down yard marker. Or no, that's not true. It's actually probably less than a yard, about 2/3 of a yard away from being a first down, and that's enough confidence for Colleyville to run it. To run a play, I should say. We really don't know what's going on. And another timeout, the second timeout of the game, called by Colleyville Heritage head coach Jerry Edwards in his second season. So looking to go over, really circulate through all of their options. 3 minutes, 43 seconds remaining in this second quarter. We'll be back after this timeout to see if Colleyville is able to take this first down and keep the drive going over the Coyotes. Ready to get going for this fourth down. The place is getting loud. Believe us, please. Offensive lineman in motion off to the left side. That will be a first down for Gerard Wiley as Cash Williams brings him down. But the offensive line creating a wave of space for Gerard Wiley to convert.
That little off-tackle run is very, very effective. If they can peach down that defensive end at all, he looks at it. Once they pinch him, he just cuts it inside, and he's always there for 2 or 3 yards.
So the Panthers with some new light. That's a lot of deep plays that they've had to convert. Pass is completed. Samir Johnson, who gets a healthy gain before he steps out of bounds, as Josiah Smith certainly assists him in stepping out of bounds. But a deep passing gain that lands them on the 30. Samir Johnson.
Under 3.5 in the first half. This is a pretty big stop if we can get it.
Samir Johnson, 14 catches for 188 yards and 2 touchdowns on the season. As brought down quickly and immediately for about a 3-yard gain. Riot Satsumi gets his first tackle of the game. Satsumi, 20 solo tackles with 1 fumble recovery on the season. We've seen the sophomore certainly pop up a lot and rise up this season.
Yeah, I think he's coming over as a former quarterback, so I think his knowledge of what offenses do when they set up in different ways is really helping him out this year.
3 minutes left to go in the quarter. This is the 10th play of the drive from Colleyville, and they're looking to pass on this left side, having to shuffle back. Still gaining some ground, still shaking space. You can see the rushing capabilities from Bodie Weaver as he will cross the 25-yard line. They'll mark him 2 yards short, so 3rd and 2 upcoming. But, Pete, you said it in the pregame. Bodie Weaver, rushing capabilities.
Yeah, he will look to run. If you give him a lane, he'll go. He's big and he's strong and he's obviously pretty quick.
Bodie Weaver with 16 touchdowns on the season. He also has 8 interceptions as well. So here's the handoff. Wiley will get forward for the first after he was able to squeeze through the right guard and tackle. So that will result in a line change as Caden Stribling will come out. So does Carter Dietz, and Shamar Boykins comes into the game.
Looks like we're getting a little bit bigger on the front there, trying to pinch that thing down a little bit. The deep threat's not a problem down here, so if you can stop your run, then that's what you need to try and do.
Shamar Boykins with 2 tackles for loss during the regular season. He'll line up at the nose. Coyotes really showing pass rush on this one. It's hat for hat. Eric Bowen is on the cover, and touchdown will go to Colleyville Heritage, caught by Luke Graves. So Luke Graves with I believe, his second touchdown on the season. So he had 1 touchdown so far before this season. He was an all-district tight end last year, and he sat out the first 2 games of this year, but getting the first touchdown in playoff play for Colleyville Heritage is the tight end number 5, Luke Graves.
Yeah, he was wide open, just jumped out off the line about 4 or 5 yards, cut left, headed for the end zone over there in the corner, and that's where he hit him.
And a 12-play drive from Colleyville Heritage. 5 minutes, 25 seconds elapsed on that one. It started out, and remember, Pete, they had to convert a lot. That was a really tough drive for Colleyville to work through. They were brought down so many yards before, I believe it was Graves who was able to get them out of the rut in the first place, and then they had the 4th down conversion that they had to convert as well.
Right. At one point, they were 2nd down and 26 or 27. So being able to get past that alone is pretty impressive, but then you finish the drive and put it in the end zone, that's pretty effective work.
And we're really seeing out of Bodie Weaver that the quarterback pressure is not going to get to him. I mean, it was a big tackle for loss, and then he, 2 plays later, aired it out to convert the first down, and we're seeing his scrambling also on display.
Absolutely. If they get pressure up the middle at all, he's just going to run outside, and then if you give him a lane, he's going to take off, just like he just did. If you leave him alone and you don't cover, he can make you pay as well.
There you go. Bodie Weaver will not be rattled. Here is the kick from Colleyville, and it looks normal as Zay Gentry will let it bounce. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining for the Coyotes to work on a 2-minute drill, 1.5-minute drill. They still have 2 timeouts to work with on this last drive. Score currently stands tied all at 7 apiece.
Yeah, I think we're going to see some hurry up out there probably. I like to watch our offense when we get in the hurry up. Zai really gets comfortable quick when we're doing that. He gets into a rhythm, and he can really start moving the ball around.
And it doesn't take a completion at the beginning to get him going. He's already comforted. He looks over to the right immediately. Picture perfect play completion to Ronald Bell for the first down, and he steps out of bounds. Clock pauses at 1:25.
Bell is he's an exceptional receiver out there. I mean, the most of the time you see him, he's in the end zone because he scores a lot of touchdowns. That's what he does. But I think his ability to shake that kid tonight could be a difference in the entire game.
It's been wild so far. 4 receivers set up on the right side. Ronald Bell with 36 catches and 6 touchdowns on the season for over 400 receiving yards. Zai looking to favor over to Ansley, wants to get the one-on-one. Then he looks toward the middle, and the gorilla glue hands of Rowan Nylander come to fruition.
Found his Woody out there.
Nice.
Man, the safety handle. Rowan Nylander getting the completion. 3 receivers on the left side. He looks for the one-on-one on the right side. And double coverage was Ronald Bell as Zai decided to throw it far and away from him. So 3rd down and 3 for the Coyotes, just above a minute left to play.
So I don't know how many times we're going to get to see Ashton down here singled up, and they even rolled the safety back the other way. So if they'd had a go route on right there, I think that could have been explosive.
And that was the same thing that we saw in the previous play. They had Ashton Ansley, all alone, and they decided to go to Rowan Nylander. Here's the handoff to Chumley. Chumley will get forward for the first as he crosses the 50. As the clock will run, but now officially in Colleyville territory, or I suppose standing on the red railroad that is the 50-yard line. Quick pass out to Zai. He will convert it. Rowan Nylander gets it, and Tony taps forward for an 8-yard gain and out of bounds as well. Clock stops at 53.
None of them. Nobody here working for them.
Getting the ball outside, getting out of bounds.
Nobody.
Because UIL could have selected them, but if they selected them, that means
Because they were still looking at the pass.
right? You talking about Bill said approve, right?
Yeah.
Once
I know, that's what I'm saying.
again, three
Like,
receivers
when I talked to him,
outside,
when I came got
on
here,
the
I'm
outside,
like,
and on
it's a
the inside of
professional
him is Ace Trailer and Rowan Nylander. Play
That's
action
Scott.
now. Ansley all alone, and he gets it. The fade
Everybody.
route completion to Ashton Ansley when he had the smaller
Smaller
defensive back,
They do
Jaden
Hall.
Hall, as Ansley will complete it. His third catch of the game, as Colleyville calls their final timeout
Like in here?
of the first half.
I'll tell
What-
you,
what can she hear?
call timeout with under a minute left on your side of the field, you're definitely concerned with what you're seeing. That's all I can say. Is that their final timeout? I'm pretty sure that is.
Yeah, it's their final timeout, and the Coyotes have already run 6 plays with only one of them being a rush, and it was the Chumley rush.
Get that first down.
So they're really looking to solidify their pass defense right now. Ashton Ansley in the regular season, 24 catches, just over 300 yards. He averages just under 40 yards per game, and he's gotten 3 touchdowns as well. His longest catch has been 20 yards, and that got very close to it, but even then, working for his team, 1 yard away from the Panther red zone.
Curious if we're going to get to see Gentry on offense at all. They might just want to use him on defense.
Yeah, we've seen him come in just a little bit sometimes on some of these plays. So Chumley is in the backfield. They'll look for Ansley again, and Ansley will get the one-arm catch, as he's pretty much been used to playing with one arm so far, but he was out of bounds. And God, I am awestruck.
Sorry, that was a spectacular catch. Good night. I can't believe he caught that.
Yeah, and because of his success, now he goes to the bench as the Coyotes look to change their formation. 2nd and 10 on the 21. Clock stands still at 43 seconds. 2 and 2. He wants Trailer. He gets Trailer. Trailer with the diving catch, and the clock will run, as even though the ball did land out of bounds, Trailer's knee landed inbounds, so the clock is going to run, and Seth Parr takes his second timeout of the half with a 3rd and 5, needing to convert to take the lead in this game.
Yep, 30 seconds left. If he can get a couple of completions down here, or just one across the backside of the defense, he'll be in business. It looks to me like he's really overwhelming that right side over there, but he doesn't go to it every time. So we'll see. That might be setting something up, too. You never know.
And we've seen Zai so far on these first drives. He's looking towards Ansley first.
Seems to be. And I mean, I would, too. If I had Ashton Ansley on my team, I'd throw the ball to him as well.
Right. And, I mean, like we've been saying all night, it's the first time that they've really had Ansley in this lineup in about a month and a half on the receiving end. He's played some defensive reps. He's had a cast on, but he's only been on the defensive side because he's had one arm. But he's clearly shown that he could catch with one arm.
Yeah, this is where he shines, too.
3rd and 5 in the Colleyville red zone. 3 receivers on the right, Chumley on Zai's left. He's looking at Kennedy first. He's having to escape. He's able to shake the quarterback pressure. He squares up his chest and runs out of bounds at the 21. So a 4-5 yard loss. Yeah, they'll mark him all the way back to the initial line of scrimmage. So a 5-yard loss, but a smart play for Zai.
So if they try to kick it here, it'll be a 38-yarder. I'm certain that's in Marroquin's range. I mean, I watched him kick a field goal off of a tee at the 50-yard line at home. So.
Yes, exactly, especially in the warm-up, too. So Marroquin will come out for the Coyotes to kick this field goal. It will be their last offensive play, as one more timeout gets called by the Coyotes. You have one more. Why not use it to give Marroquin a little bit extra time to settle his feet and understand the range?
I wonder if they saw something when they went out there that gives them an opportunity. They might have something in the bag that they haven't used all year long, and that defensive formation might have told them that they have a chance to do something here.
That could be true, and I mean, I interpreted your words differently, but something in the bag that they haven't used a lot is really Desmar Marroquin's field goals. The last time he even attempted a field goal was in the Melissa game, which was on September 27th. So we're coming up on 2 months away from that. So obviously, Desmar has been repping field goals all day, every day during practice. But this is the first one that we've seen in a game in a long time, especially in playoff atmosphere.
Yes. Oh, I didn't know. Okay, so Rowan's a holder too. Okay.
Well, he's got the best hands on the team.
Pretty good hands.
Yeah,
You're
there you
right.
go.
Absolutely.
Desmar Marquin with his first field goal attempt in about a month and a half in a real game, and it will go through. Long, successful kick from Desmar Marquin to put the Coyotes up 10-7, 22 seconds remaining in the first half, and Colleyville will get it back with no timeouts.
I like that. So that could be really important for us. One of the things that I've noticed about Seth over the past 3 years and his team of coaches is they're very, very effective at making changes and adapting to whatever the defense is showing them, whatever the offense is showing them. So we tend to be, for the most part, a better second half team. So being either tied or in the lead when you go into halftime, that's a pretty big deal for us.
And that kind of coaching with knowing the adaptation reflects onto the players as well. Because we saw in that third down, Zai opened up his hips and he was looking to pass it maybe to somebody in double coverage just to try and get that touchdown. But he went out of bounds at a 5-yard pace that he lost just to, secure the chance for Marquin to square that thing up for the field goal.
Absolutely. Points they're hard to come by today, so every one you can get is very important.
And I'm sure they talked about that a lot during practice this week. Can't leave any points on the table. There's Marquin's kick. It looks a bit short. It's going to land at the 5. This gives room for Colleyville to return. The first pressure going down the right sideline. It'll be Brennan Williams who gets the tackle and the first one to get to the rusher.
He'll take us down to 16 seconds in the half.
Yeah, that looked to be Israel Johnson. So 16, yes, 6 seconds runoff on the kickoff, knowing that this special teams can defend almost anybody. Well, they haven't ran into anybody that they can't defend yet.
Absolutely.
They have not. I don't believe they've let up a single kickoff return so far this season. I can't think of one.
Yeah, it was one of the last 2 or 3 games. They ran one back. Might have been Memorial, because we kept kicking it. Well, we kicked a lot. Obviously, we scored 70 points, I think. But
yeah, 76-14.
And then in the fourth quarter, they did break one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it took 8 games for that to happen. Edward Chumley in on defense, and Chumley, they will mark him at the exact line of scrimmage, and I think Seth Parr was looking for a tackle for loss. Still excited with the great offensive production from Edward Chumley, and that will mark the last offense of the first half. Coyotes leading 10-7 in playoff action. We are here, Mustang Panther Stadium, Nash Lowry, Pete Kane. Make sure you catch us when we come back for second half action as the Coyotes look to continue their 6-game win streak. start of the second half. Coyotes currently leading the Colleyville Heritage Panthers 10-7. We try to have some natural sound for you. We apologize if there's any difficulty as we are on the road. But right now, what we're hearing sounds great. Nash Lowry alongside Pete Kane here with you at Mustang Panther Stadium. Pete, so far through the first half, Coyotes being forced to do a lot of things that they haven't done all season, including really, attempt a field goal.
Yeah. But at least they made the intended field goal.
Here's the run out to the left side, and that one is rushed far and away. Bryce Abram with his first carry of the game for Colleyville. Just to go over some of those halftime stats for you, 232 total yards for the Coyotes, 108 total yards for the offense of Colleyville, as a about 1 yard rush goes up the middle. He gets forward 2, so it'll give him forward progress and get brought back. Abram will get brought back about 2, so it's 2nd and 8.
The second half of their 1-2 running back punch here. So I think we'll probably get a good dose of Abram. Maybe the first 2 series for these guys on offense.
Yeah, just give him a little bit of time to cipher this thing out. Once again, it's Abram. He's able to elude Edward Chumley before Ashton Ansley brought him down. So that brings him forward. 3rd and 1 upcoming for Colleyville as they look to get into Coyote territory.
He's averaging almost as much as Wiley is at 4.8 yards a carry. He does have 4 touchdowns the same, and he'll catch the ball for you too. He's got 11 for 85 yards.
Coyotes with 63 yards of rushing, Colleyville with only 40 yards of rushing, but they've quickly evened it up so far in just the first few plays. Here's Eric Bowen with a huge tackle for loss and a 3rd down stop. It'll bring him back a yard. Still in maybe 4th down attempt territory for Colleyville as they have some success converting 4th down already in this game, Pete.
Yeah, I feel like they think if they can get 2 or 3 yards anytime they want with the line that they have and the way these guys are running the ball. And also, this is a time for Bodie to be looking around too. So.
You can hear some of these horns that are active. I promise they've been there all game. 2 receivers on the left, extra bulk
Not this time.
for the rush, and extra bulk brought down. How do you match bulk? You match it with more bulk. Tackle for loss. Caden Banks gets the 4th down stop.
Could be huge. That's in their territory too to start with our offense.
So there you go. Caden Banks with a stop that starts the Coyotes in Colleyville territory. So far, Anna has had 2 penalties on the day, while Colleyville Heritage has only had 1. It was the false start. When we go to Zai's passing yards, 169 passing yards with 1 interception that happened on the first drive. He's throwing about 65%, 13 of 20 on completions. Here's the pass out to the left side. Ashton Ansley will get forward. The ball has come loose. It did bounce out of bounds, but Ashton Ansley on the screen play with some screen assisting from Rowan Nylander and Ace Traylor.
I think popping that little bubble out there, they're going to look to try to send him down the field at some point behind that. Or either that or send Rowan up the sideline.
Yep. You get to the receiving game. Ashton Ansley, that's his 5th catch of the night. He had 71 yards in the first half. You also got Michael Kennedy with 2 catches for 41, as well as Rowan Nylander for 3. As there's a rush up the middle. This one looks like it's gonna be about 5 as the contact was there, but then it became a team push. So this will push it 3rd down and 3.
Yeah, the defensive line was there immediately. He wouldn't go down. They kept driving, and he got some linemen with him, and he kept driving, and next thing you know, he's got 5 yards.
As I mentioned earlier, Anna with 63 total rushing yards in that first half. Chumley, 12 carries, 59 yards, and has the sole touchdown for the Coyotes tonight. A lot of bulk on this Coyotes offensive line. Here's the pass option. It goes to Traylor. Traylor bumbled it a little bit, but he was able to secure it down for the first down. Ace Traylor will get it.
Sets down right in front of the marker. Ball is delivered on time.
No, that's actually Zay Gentry.
That is Zay. Yes, it is.
Okay, so the 2 looked like a 7 from my point of view. Please understand. So Zay Gentry with his first completion of the day on the Coyote side, and it's for a first.
Yeah, he grabbed his lower back when he went down just there. I'm not sure if he tweaked something, but they also replaced him immediately, so we'll see.
Yeah, he didn't have any catches against Memorial, but he had 2 catches for 23 yards against Denison. So there's been some times where he only plays defense and sometimes where he sees the offensive side of the field. As a lot of noise occupying Mustang Panther Stadium, forcing Seth Parr to call his first timeout of the third quarter.
Yeah, we're down to 2 seconds on the play clock there. He didn't have much of an option, so.
Yeah, there you go. Still 1st and 10. Simply don't want anything more penalties to bog down the momentum of this Coyotes offense.
Absolutely. Stay in front of the chains, keep moving the ball, and execute. And again, no penalties and no turnovers. That's the recipe to a win.
The Coyotes are shooting about 50% on their drives in terms of scoring. The first drive, of course, ended with that interception where they secured 3 first downs in that one, and then we've seen the Chumley drive end with a touchdown. We've seen Morrow Quinn's drive end with a field goal, and they've had one other drive where they failed to convert a 4th down. So it's been 4 total drives. This is the 5th total drive. So about 50-50 on whether or not the Coyotes are able to put up some points. 3 receivers on the right, 1 on the left. The one on the left is Kennedy. Here's Chumley, and he goes up the middle. He's able to fight through the contact from Madden Williams, the middle linebacker. Madden Williams with his 5th tackle of the night.
Yeah, you've said his name a number of times this evening. He is doing a good job at that mic spot.
About a 4-yard gain for Edward Chumley, averaging just about 5 yards a carry so far this game. It's just under that mark. Slants go in for Zai. He decides to scramble. Kennedy was ahead screening for him, and he had to shake through 2 Panthers before he's tackled 2 yards short of the first down marker. So 3rd and 2 after the 4-yard gain for Zai.
That's a manageable 3rd down right there. That's what we're looking for. And I'm pretty positive at the 30-yard line that we will not be kicking a field goal or punting it.
Yeah, once you cross over into the 50-yard line, whenever you get some 4th down conversions at the 50, it's really skeptical. I mean, it's really case-by-case basis. But once you get into the 30, especially in high school and with this Coyote offense, you're going to see it all the time. 5 wide, quarterback draw, and Zai pushes up the middle, but he is slammed by the brick wall. That is Darian Lloyd.
Darian Lloyd is he's the weak side linebacker out there, and he watched that thing develop the entire time. He is a senior. He's tied for 2nd in tackles for loss. He leads the team in tackles, by the way.
Yeah, he does. 79 total tackles, so if we hadn't called him out, he's reached 80 total tackles so far this game. Maybe not with that one, but maybe in a game or in a in the first half. But 7 tackles for loss for Darian Lloyd. 4th and 2, and like you said, Pete, they are not faltered. 5 wide, 3 on the right, and 2 on the left. Zai now looking to scramble. He still has his shoulders set up to pass, and man, what a play by Marcos Rivera. Ace Traylor also clearing out more space, and man, and the Mustang and the Panthers also want to try and drive that ball away, and it looked like there was going to be a face mask penalty.
That's what it looked like. The flag came flying in from the back of the end zone, and it was right after he went down, so that's what you normally look at.
And that was only prolonged because a lot of the Panthers were, I mean, it looked like they were trying to strip the ball away instead of tackling Zai straight up. So there you go, half the distance, the 2nd penalty of the game for Colleyville.
And that can happen when you're trying to strip the ball out as hard as they're trying to strip the ball out. You're raking your hands, and it's so easy to go a foot and a half from the helmet from the football to the helmet and grab that face mask.
And whenever you go with the punch attempt, it's really tough, to get a face mask because your fist is closed. But whenever you're trying to do a rip out, that's where the face mask will come from. Edward Chumley goes and gives a pep talk to Jesse Vasquez, who's set up on the left side.
He saw something.
Yeah, he did. So Chumley breaks through, and he'll be just 1 yard short, maybe even less than a yard. And he went right through that gap between him and Rivera. So they're going to set up quickly again. High action red zone offense, and Edward Chumley gets in there as Peyton Miller gets some extra, gives the Panthers some extra business. Edward Chumley with his second touchdown in the game and the second touchdown for the Coyotes.
Good drive right there. They executed exactly how they should have, didn't get themselves in trouble, and did not get the ball back. And most importantly, like you said, now we're over 50% on our drives.
Yeah. So it's 3 of 5 now with that Chumley rush. And Marquin's extra point, he hasn't done much field goaling, but he's certainly had his, maybe to his dismay, but a lot of PAT attempts so far this season. A 9-play drive going 49 yards and being just under 5 minutes in total, all capped off by Edward Chumley's run up the mid.
Marquin's been special on the extra points all year long. I think he's missed a couple, maybe 2 or 3, but he has really, really been important in that role. And especially this time of year, it gets very important. 1 point can be the game in any of these games. You never know. It's going to be tough competition, and having him back there is very comforting.
Yeah, and you talk about 6-point games, how 1 point can really be the breaker of some things. Let's go around and check out some of these scores from around the city. Of course, you have Anna leading 17-7 over Colleyville right now. Argyle is up 31-21 over Frisco Emerson at halftime. Argyle up 10. Here's the kickoff to the 5-yard line, letting Colleyville return once again, and there is a big tackle. Man, what a slammer from the Coyotes.
Number 12 on the tackle for Anna. That is, let's see here.
Getting in there. We haven't seen a lot of a number
12. It's Xavier Flanagan.
Or Xavier Flanagan. I believe he had been previously number 11 throughout a lot of the
14?
season.
I think it was 14.
Rocking around somewhere of those teens, but Xavier Flanagan with a monstrous tackle to stop that kickoff in its tracks. Now they're going to start from the 11.
Yeah, Flanagan is an incredible athlete, really good receiver as well.
And he's been around a long time. The first thing I ever did for the Coyotes was the purple and white scrimmages. There was a wide open Nicholas Wankambi, his first target of the game. And Nicholas Wankambi could have waltzed and slow danced into the end zone, but could not catch up to that pass. If y'all hadn't heard from us before, Nicholas Wankambi is pretty much the leading receiver for Colleyville, as their star wide receiver Braden Blewett went down with an injury 4 games in, so they've been relying on Wankambi a lot.
Absolutely. He's come along strong, too, in the end of the season for him.
Yeah, now he leads the team in receiving yards as well as receiving touchdowns. So very shocking to see Pete, just the first target for him be so late into this game. Well, there's the second target, and it's a tackle for loss. So Josiah Smith gets credited for the tackle for loss, and it looks like Eric Bowen also had some say in that as well.
Well, I don't know what they told these guys at the halftime, but they are playing football right now.
And what did you say in the first half? That Anna is they're
a second half team. They always have been.
There you go.
Well, under Coach Parr, they have been.
Certainly knows how to fire up a locker room. Running back on the right side, it's 3rd and deep, having to scramble. Wants to get a pass attempt. That spiral looked good, and man, Wankambi with the Tony toe tap on the side. Good spiral under pressure throw from Bodie Weaver.
He is, that's an exceptional catch right there. Just really, really good concentration. So his defense needs to settle down. They had him pinned deep, and if they did it again, they got out of it.
They got out of it, and a nice adjustment from Wakambi, his third target now, to finally get into this game. And now this is a total team effort. I think Brendan Williams was the one to get there first.
Bowen really crashing down on that thing. I think they're taking these outside corners, and if they're on the short side of the field, when they try that off-tackle run, which has been really successful, I think they're dropping that corner down and just abandoning the receiver, which is great when you stop the run, but it ain't that great when the kid takes off downfield and gets the ball to him.
Yeah, now you're having a ton of success on the passing side of the ball, which Colleyville had not really seen in a lot of the first half. Here's the handoff. Going ahead, George Rogers will get the solo tackle. And, man, just some elite 5A wrestling right there on display from George.
Yeah, WWE broke out on the field there for a second. He body slammed that
You
kid.
see the German suplex right there? Wow. So that brings up 3rd and 7. Really trying to make sure that Colleyville earns their gains on the ground was the safety, George Rogers. So here we go. Here's extra help on the offensive line. There is the breakthrough. I want to see who got the first contact. It's Chumley. Chumley will get the assist on the sack, and Cash Williams is the one who breaks it down. So half sacks to Edward Chumley and Cash Williams.
Great, great play right there. Good recognition and a delayed stunt by Chumley up the middle. And then Cash was right in his hip pocket when they both went at the same time.
And I was talking about before that play was developing, I didn't really explain it too well, but the H-back was actually a tight end who ran a route. So they lined up with an extra offensive lineman, and then I think he realized that there was a hat-for-hat advantage and decided to rush the quarterback. But an 8-yard sack for Chumley and Cash Williams stunts the Colleyville Panthers, forcing them to punt, and that one lands on the 25. Let's keep going over some of our other scores. Like I said earlier, that one still stands 31-21. Argyle leads Frisco Emerson, who is 4th place in, Anna's division. Lovejoy, 35-0 over Mansfield Timberview. That's at halftime. A lot of these games are at halftime, so looking to clearly advance there. And some of our old good friends, Salina, up. The ball is loose. Zy William had the ball knocked loose. This one's still going out of bounds, and it's recovered inside by number 31, Chase Gibson, for the Panthers.
Gut check time now for our defense. That ball popped straight up in the air. The guy came around the back, so I don't think Zy ever even knew he was there. Popped it straight up in the air, and it was within inches to whether or not that was just going to slide out of bounds for him.
So Zy Williams, one of the few times that we've seen him fumble so far this season throughout his career. He has only lost 3 fumbles, so I believe that's his 4th lost fumble of his career. But, I mean, this defense for Anna is shooting hot after that previous sack and stop. So momentum does lean in Colleyville's way, though. Here's a good spiral and a one-armed catch attempt from Wakambi, who did get contact on it, goes incomplete from the coverage. I think Josiah Smith was on that one.
He was on that one. That was just a little bit long, or that would have been a bad day. Looks like they're getting help over the top from the inside on the linebacker side, or the safety side, not linebackers. And that's what occurred right there. But I think Bowen dropped down.
Yes. 2nd and 10. They are in the Coyotes' red zone. Extra help over to the right side. Now we're seeing back to the rushing attempts by Bryce Abram. As Abram will inch forward for about 2 yards. Yeah, they'll mark him 2 yards. So it's 3rd and 6 lined up in Coyote territory on the Coyotes' 17-yard line. Making some adjustments. They bring out wide receiver Landon Dressel, wearing number 14. He'll line up in the slot on the right side. Okay, indeed. Here's the snap. It looked a little bit high. He's having to scramble over to the right side. Cash Williams giving chase. Rattlesnakes it. Cash Williams with tackles for loss on back-to-back defensive drives brings them back to a humbling 4th and 11. Now the Panthers trying to figure out what their next course of action is, and because of that, looks like there's a lot of a personnel change, looking maybe towards a field goal. And that will be the case. So Landon Dressel, the one that they just brought out for the kicking, or for the wide receiving duties, will line up on the kick. This kick will come from the 27-yard line. It's a beamer. And it's up and good. So Landon Dressel with a bailout 3 points for the Colleyville Heritage Panthers. Gives them a nice 3-point gain. Now it's a 17-10 ball game.
Yeah, Landon was 3 of 3 on his field goals coming into today, and his longest was 27. So that was pretty close to another long for him. And he's hit 9 out of 10 of his point after tries.
So really good kicking capabilities. And I mean, we'll talk even more about that as now Colleyville is getting into the later stage of this game, and we haven't really seen a lot of kickoff attempts from Colleyville. They've only had about one throughout this game. So please give us the scouting report on what we might see here.
Could be the best onside kicking team in the state. These guys are effective. They do it a number of different ways, and they love to do it after something like that. So I can tell you for a fact that they're being told over on the Coyote sideline, keep your head on the swivel. Watch that guy and see what he does. Watch his defenders out there and see where they line up.
So just in case, we're going to go down the line. You've got Brennan Williams going right to left. Brennan Williams, Austin Crowley, Cash Williams, Michael Kennedy, Rowan Nylander. This is the hands team.
Absolutely.
This is the hands team that they have out there. It doesn't look like a normal onside kick because they line up normally. So here is the kicker, Ryan Zuckert. We just wanted to enlighten you on what could happen because you saw how successful of a kick that one was.
Yes, absolutely. We looked at a couple of his kicks online before the game started, and they're just really unusual. It's really hard to get your hand on it when it comes at you.
Yeah.
He'll kick a knuckleball 4 feet off the ground, 10 yards, and you're trying to deal with that. So it's hard to deal with. And like I said, the coaching staff knows that. They've seen it too. If I saw it, I'm certain they saw it.
Yeah, because we were looking at it and we're like, wow, how did he did that?
Yeah.
So just mark the point in time. Remember that we said this, 1:14, there's a bit more on the clock, but like around the 1 minute mark left to go in the third quarter, we gave you the spiel on the onside kick. Zy Williams wanted to scan for his options. It was a forward pass. He was out of the pocket, therefore no intentional grounding for Zy, so it will be 2nd and 10.
He bounced it right at Ashton, too, so he had a receiver right there. But he also had 2 defenders right there. So.
I guess supposedly he did intentionally ground it, but not in a harming.
Not at all, no. He's legal.
Yep. Here we go. 3 receivers set up on the right side, rushing with a little bit of extra bulk. It's a wide open Ronald Bell, and he shakes his coverer, Chase Gibson. Ronald Bell, the block from Ace Trailer, and Chase Gibson able to shell down Ronald Bell after he got all the way to the 13-yard line. Huge gain for Ronald Bell, his longest on his career, 37. Mark a new long for Ronald Bell.
Awesome. So he had to slow down a little bit. He was watching his blocker Trailer out in front of him, and he wanted to follow him as best he could, but it gave the other kid time to catch him.
Now Chumley looking to follow up on the career-high 62-yard catch and run for Ronald Bell, and Chumley will get about 4. He's been averaging about that so far this game, and now they are in the red zone.
Yeah, I have a feeling we're going to see some inside guys coming into the game plan down here.
Under 30 seconds remaining in the third. Play clock stands at 20. Maybe looking to see one more per chance. Zy scrambling. He's able to break free of the offensive line, and he shuffles out of bounds safely. He had to he was going to have to run through number 7, Hayden West, if he wanted any more yards. But he gets the first down, so that is a 1st and goal on the Panthers' 7-yard line. And he did run out of bounds, so Coyotes get one more attempt.
Yep. That's the right thing to do. We don't want Zai running downfield and initiating contact. He's not Pharrell Brown, so let Chumley and Brown do that. You run out of bounds.
Yeah. God, dude, Pharrell Brown the other night?
Yes. It was incredible.
It was truly amazing. He has 34 carries for 395 yards on the season, and he had 300 yards in the Liberty game just a week ago. As Chumley breaks up the middle, he had to go under a lot of the offensive linemen, and he gets placed on the 5. And the clock has stopped at 4 in the stadium.
What? Okay, they're running.
Now they're running it, and that will mark the end of the 3rd quarter. So Colleyville able to secure a field goal on their first drive of the quarter. They were pushed back, able to secure the field goal, and now Coyotes knocking on the doorstep once again, looking to re-increase this one to a 2-score game. We'll be back with the 4th quarter here on Coyote Vision. Back here for the 4th quarter, Zai Williams and Edward Chumley on the doorstep. Zai takes the snap and he rattles off to his right. Ronald Bell is in the end zone for his first touchdown of the night. Coyotes with their 3rd touchdown of the evening.
Ronald Bell Jr. doing what Ronald Bell Jr. does, catching touchdown passes. Got about a yard in front of that guy. Sorry, Nash. Got about a yard in front of that guy, and Zai saw it the whole way.
He did. Yeah, that's the link up. They knew they wanted that one immediately. So Ronald Bell running across that plane, able to get in there for the touchdown. And now Marquin's PAT is blocked, as this one was able to get through. I saw Madden Williams. Man, he's doing everything tonight for Colleyville. Madden Williams with the field goal block.
Yeah, I don't think Mr. Williams is trying to give up on this game at all. I think he wants to fight the whole way. So hopefully that won't come back to haunt us, but every point is important.
So a lot of value in those PATs, but nevertheless, Coyotes securing one touchdown, securing a touchdown in that drive. 80 yards in 6 plays, with the highlight of the play being the huge 62-yard pass completion, the career long for Ronald Bell.
Ronald Bell's drive. He got him down there, and then he got him in the end zone.
Yeah, Ronald Bell during the regular season, 36 catches, 382 yards. He's been averaging about 50 yards per game. He's been the Coyotes leading leading in yards per game for them throughout the season, and he leads the team in receiving touchdowns now. He just increased his gap over Ace Traylor, who has 6.
Well, I think it's only fair that Ace gets a shot too, then.
Yeah, I mean, Ace leads the team in receiving yards. That's what I was talking about earlier. 514 for Ace. And here he is lined up next to Pharrell Brown on this special teams unit. This one lands in the end zone, and Colleyville will let it clear. Colleyville down 23-10 at the beginning of this fourth quarter. Out in Grapevine at Mustang Panther Stadium, Pete Kane and Nash Lowry here with you. First playoff action for the Coyotes this year. It's exciting to be back.
Absolutely. And it's pretty much what we said at the start. It's a back and forth game, a really closely contested match. And you're talking about Bell and Trailer. I was talking the other day with somebody about why don't we have a receiver that, averages 120 yards a game? Because we have 8 really good receivers.
Rush up the middle, and Ashton Ansley was able to get some first contact, but the ball carrier will be down at the 40. So once again, Gerard Riley now in for this drive. And Pete, I'm seeing maybe Gerard Wiley comes in for a drive, and then Bryce Abram comes in for a
That's
drive.
what it's looking like in the second half. Yeah, they're alternating, which if you have that luxury, that's fantastic. Because they're both about the same caliber running back.
Yeah, Coyotes kind of had that luxury last year with George Rogers and Chumley. Oh, and Eric Bowen reads it immediately.
Right off the edge.
Eric Bowen on the tackle for loss on the edge rush. Perfectly read Bodie Weaver's turn around fake and brings up 2nd and 11 for the Panthers. Second and 11 so far, the Panthers. It's not getting to 4th down territory just yet, but they are 1 for 3 on their 4th downs. Here's the pass outside. It's very high up. That gives plenty of time for Wrestlin' Rogers to tackle it once again. You like that? Just the odd form tackle. You see, like he got his arms and did it like over, you know, like he was in a half guard.
Rogers gets his hands on it. He's just not going to let go. You'd have to pick him up and carry him if you want to go anywhere.
One of the best hands on the team, him and Nylander. 3rd and 9. Wiley gets one extra block, and there's Brennan Williams. Brennan Williams with the big sack on the 3rd down that pushes them way far back. So Brennan Williams, so far this season, 10 solo tackles, 21 total tackles. He's already had 1 sack so far, and now his 2nd sack on the season for an 11-yard loss.
Yeah, Bodie came up a little bit stressed after that. That caused him a little bit of pain in the backfield back there, their quarterback.
So Bodie Weaver's certainly going to have some time to rest as this very successful looking punt, as Zay Gentry pulls off some antics and rushed hard at the ball, forcing number 18 Blake Wendler to dive on that one.
And forcing Coach Rod over there to have a heart attack when he sees him running at the football.
Yeah, how many voices were screaming at him on that sideline?
Big drive for the Coyotes. Time to use up some time and circulate the ball down the field, get some more points, get ready to face the next opponent.
Interculate?
Matriculate.
Oh, matriculate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ball down the field, yeah.
Yeah, so really...
That's not my word. I stole that from Keith Jackson.
Shout out Keith Jackson. So there's Zai, and he completes it to Ronald Bell, and doing the exact opposite of matriculating the ball downfield, Ronald Bell with another nuclear bomb of a reception.
Well, he is putting up a game tonight. He's doing a great job out there. Zai is on point. He's done great.
And this drive started on their own 39-yard line. So now all the way down to the 8. Here's the handoff to Chumley, and he eats up some contact quickly. Once again, we're seeing Ronald Bell pioneer forward, and then Chumley go after.
Not sure who that tackle was made by, but he squared up and planted that tackle. It was very, very well done.
I'm going to go with Dadrian Gaines, wearing number 4. He's been lined up as a safety so far. He's wearing number 4. I believe he's lined up as a safety, but he's listed as a defensive back. Very technical tackle. Extra blitz rush. Zai has to air it out quickly. He wanted to go to ace. It was the 7-on-7 matchup. He was being guarded by Hayden West.
Yeah, Trailer got out there, and they got tangled up a little bit. It was just enough to throw off the timing route and cause the incompletion.
So after Ronald Bell's trailblazing catch, now it's third down on the 7. This is a 54-yarder. Zy Williams with the 2-clap syncopation was same thing to trailer, and there was a lot more congestion on that pass than the pass prior, but it looked like Ace initiated the contact. So once again, after a successful way to get up the field, both times it was Ronald Bell struggling in the red zone, now bringing out the kicking unit. So, I mean, 2 back-to-back offensive drives where it's practically been the same result, Pete.
Yeah. They're, after the blocked extra point, you can believe that they're going to be coming after this field goal.
Because now you've seen the ball go through the hoop, or you haven't seen the ball go through the uprights. It's more translatable. And there you go. It is tipped. So on that play, I saw a lot of the linemen jump over the left side of the Coyotes field goal formation.
Yeah, as long as you don't jump over the center, you're legal. You can get through the gaps like that. You can jump over the legs, because a lot of times they'll lock their legs together and just turn and just form a barrier, because it's a very fast play. But if you can jump through there, it's legal. As long as you don't go over the top of the center, you're going to be legal.
So Coyotes make their way down the field on top of Ronald Bell's 54-yard reception, but come up short in the red zone after the blocked field goal. So blocked a PAT and now have blocked a field goal. Still down by 2 scores are the Panthers, with even less time now. Still have all 3 of their timeouts remaining with 8:36 left to go in the 4th. Weaver, one pumping, and he gets over to the other side, and on the coverage was Eric Bowen. Coming down with this one is Wankambe with his 2nd catch of the game.
Gets 5 yards out of that. The middle of the field was wide open right there, and the quarterback never saw it. Thank goodness.
So only limiting him to a 5-yard gain, now having to scramble for a lot of his options and scramble in reality. Austin Crowley was the last one to make contact there, but Bodie Weaver with the rushing 1st down.
He's pretty deceptive the way he moves. He gets downfield really quickly, but it doesn't look like he's going that fast. But he's a pretty big kid.
Yeah. The junior quarterback makes the pass up to the left side. Once again, it's Wankambe. This tackle looks high. No laundry is out on the field, so it will be a fair form tackle. Looks like George Rogers was it. So 2nd down and 2. Looking over to his left side, Bodie Weaver really locked in on his target, and George Rogers with the initial push, and the initiality was actually initiated by Dax Hybeson. So in a way, there's no penalty because Hybeson put his hands on Rogers first.
Now Rogers did a smart thing there. He immediately snapped his head around to look at that quarterback so he could see what was going, where it was coming from.
But you could see Hybeson's speed slowed up really quickly once that ball was let loose and eyes kind of got over to that wide receiver DB matchup. Quick snap, 3rd down, and it's forward. Ashton Ansley trips him up a little bit. It will be a 1st down and plenty more as multiple Coyotes have to get in there and stop Bryce Abram.
They are definitely moving quickly.
So Dax Hybeson comes back into the game. Blake Windler is out. Hybeson is lined up as the close receiver on the left side. So now Weaver making sure the audible is known to his receivers. He has a wide open Wankambe. Wankambe has to dart back quickly. They will say no. They will say incompletion because Wankambe was out of bounds. But that was a really tight route ran from him.
Very, very. I'm trying to figure out. Okay, so it was Josiah Smith. All right. I was just trying to figure out who was coming over the top on that play, and I couldn't get a number at all the entire time. And I just saw him go off. So. And Ansley's playing deep safety. something weird happened there.
Something weird happened. It's basically a free play, so it's a deep bomb, and there's Ansley who brings it down. Ansley's going to keep running because I don't see anything wrong with the play just yet. Ashton Ansley running forward. Here is, oh my gosh, way up the field. Ashton Ansley able to make it all the way down from the block. Draylon McMahon, Ashton Ansley he ran it all the way from Anna. Pick 6.
Incredible. I believe that was a 85-yard return right there.
So talk me through the pre-snap.
I don't know what that was. I thought for sure he was going to have a free play because I thought that we jumped, and there's no replay, of course, but
So
I don't know. They didn't see anything. The coaches over here, the Heritage, yeah.
yeah, they're letting him have it. Here is, yeah.
They're like, hey, that was supposed to be offsides. What's going on? But they didn't see it, and they're down there, so.
So you're looking at the head coach, Jerry Edwards, in his second year, as well as the offensive coordinator, Jeremy Snyder, who are pretty up in arms with the ref, and essentially everybody who has eyes, who can see, noticed that there was some pre-snap shenanigans like we've been talking about. And I think it was Draylon McMahon. But, I mean, if you would like to go back and look at that play just once again, Draylon McMahon was up at the 20-yard line blocking for Ansley on that.
Yep, absolutely. These guys, anytime they have
Wait, let's detail the play just really quickly. 10 seconds left. It's a 2-point conversion, and now they're bringing in Michael Kennedy. That was the upset. Seth Parr is certainly upset. 4 seconds remaining. It's a fake handoff to Kennedy. Chumley's wide open, and he hits him. So the PAT that was blocked before in the failed field goal now finally get some retribution. A 2-point conversion off of Ashton Ansley's pick 6 puts the Coyotes up 31-10 with half of the fourth quarter already elapsed by. So there you go. He had Edward Chumley wide open on that 2-point conversion, and that's the first 2-point conversion that they've attempted thus far this game. Really, they had the insurance from the touchdown, but it was more about missing out on those points earlier.
Yeah, no, that was the right call. I don't know how Chumley was that open. How do you not look for one every play?
Yeah, I mean, you had the jet sweep from Kennedy, and I think what it was is the rusher who was looking to rush the quarterback viewed Chumley as a main blocker and not a chip blocker. So he tried to drive through Chumley in order to get to Zai, who was passing. But in reality, Chumley chipped off of him and was able to run right in because he had nobody covering. So here is the return. He returns it from about 2 yards inside the end zone. And man, what a diving play. Who is that?
That's Flanagan.
There we go.
Number 12. He's the headhunter tonight on these kickoffs. He's all over the place.
Yeah, he's pinned him back within 15 yards twice now. 15 yards of the end zone, I mean.
Right. Anytime you get him inside the 20, that's a successful kickoff. So, these past two have been very successful. He just comes flying down there and gets under control. That's the hardest part of doing that, is you come down and with his kind of speed, you got to break down and get yourself under control and square up to make the tackle. So kudos to him. He's done a great job of it tonight.
Yeah, truly all-form athlete. I mean, there's a ton of value in being able to run from the 40 all the way to the 10 where he made that tackle in literally like 5 seconds.
Yeah. With people trying to stop him.
Yep. So there's the pass out completed. Once again, Wrestlin' Rogers, as Landon Dressel was the intended receiver, and he got it for only 4 yards, or 3 yards, excuse me. So 2nd and 7. Excuse me. So that will be 4.
Going back to tempo.
A lot of time
Nobody
in the pocket and miscommunication on the routes. He wanted to go towards Luke Graves, who has the only touchdown for Colleyville Heritage thus far throughout the night. So immediate 3rd down. And honestly, Colleyville is really just looking to put some points on the board and go to their kickoff so they can go for that onside kick.
Absolutely. Well, watch Bodie Weaver as he takes the snap. He is so calm in the pocket, really, really relaxed. Just very, very smooth. Makes a read, makes a throw. That looks like it might be a little bit short there, Nash.
Yeah, so they'll pin it down at 4th and 1, but you know, like you said, he's just like a shallow shore. Just moves so smoothly when he's in motion. He took about 2 steps back. If you want to see somebody else who moves in the pocket soundly, I mean, we'll probably see Zai coming up. But of course, this could be dagger. This is the 4th down attempt in their own territory. Here's the handoff as Crowley was there to get forward, and there will be a 1st down, but credit to Austin Crowley to breaking the line early and trying to get that pressure and seal the game.
So they cannot continue to try and run the ball all the way down the field if they have any intention of winning this football game. They're going to have to put it in the air, and that's why Ansley's back playing deep safety for us again.
Yeah, we're going to have to start putting it into the air. Ryan Satsumi barrels through the offensive line. That forced Weaver to throw it away super quickly.
He was there in a hurry.
Yeah, so now having to rely on their passing game, which has been a little bit weaker than their rushing game. Throughout the regular season, they've been averaging about 160 yards per game with 6.8 yards coming per pass. But his QB completion rating and Colleyville as a whole is only 57%. For example, Zai throws it at 67%. So here's the deep route. Once again, another incompletion. 2 deep route incompletions in a row for Colleyville.
I'm sure this is what Seth and his defensive coordinator, Coach Severe, had decided that they wanted to do. Get up on the game late in the game. If you can get a 2-score lead, even better. But force them to try to move the ball quickly down the field, because that's not what they're comfortable doing. They're comfortable running the ball. So he's putting them in definitely outside of their comfort zone right now.
10 seconds remaining on the clock. Colleyville still has all 3 of their timeouts. We're getting down to 5. The ball is snapped, so here we go. Cash Williams, he's having to turn away. Cash Williams on the sack. Also giving credit to Shamar Boykins, who shares the sack with him. And how many times can we call out Cash Williams' name on a huge 4th down sack?
Kid has been living in their backfield on 4th down. He got back there on that play. Dietz crossed in front of him, and he wasn't even seen when he ran around the side. It was really, really effective play. Some of the defensive things that we're doing out there, I haven't seen all year long. Some of the little stunts, the little switches, it's really been effective against them, especially on the run. Now, the thing about that is if they go off tackle at the run, it can put you in a lot of trouble when you're doing that. But if you're passing it, you can get to them.
Because whenever you draw up a play like that for the defensive line to move, it might, it takes a long time to develop. Bodie Weaver now just having to rush it out. Austin Crowley with the tackle. Bodie Weaver will get about 7 yards before Austin Crowley gets the turnover on downs.
Yep. Crowley didn't get outrun that time. He made that play, and he looked pretty determined in the chase there.
Yeah, so in the previous play where they had to convert the 4th down long ago, it really wasn't that long ago. It was a few plays ago, but Austin Crowley was the one to break through the line, and he does once again, putting the Coyotes in significantly favorable field position. 4 minutes, 27 seconds remaining for the Coyotes in their first game of the 2024 playoffs.
Yeah, normally you would just pound it, but knowing Coach Parr, he's going to run his offense. He doesn't really matter where you're at. And here we go. Like I said, got him.
Pound it, and he gets Ace Traylor, who gets forward for the first. The sideline judge actually lines up just short of the 1st down marker, so I think this will be 2nd and inches.
That sure looked like it was a little bit closer than that.
Maybe his upper body was forward, but where he was brought down, that'll be 2nd down, which actually works better for the Coyotes because they get one more play to run the clock off. Here's Zai, and he's scrambling. Michael Kennedy forward on the screen, but Zai leaps over the plane. Zai Williams' first rushing touchdown in the 2024 playoffs.
Hopefully the first of many. He looked great right there. There was just too much space out there, and this is the time in the game where you start thinking about keeping everybody healthy and getting ready for your next matchup. Which I'm curious how the Abilene Wiley and El Paso What El Paso team was that again? Let me see. Hang on, I got it. Apologies for that.
So there's the extra point from Desmond Marco. We'll go ahead and help you out with some of those games as we see them. Argyle and Frisco Emerson's score has not changed, still 31 to 21. Prosper Walnut Grove is up 42 to 28 over Arlington Seguin, and Lovejoy still killing Mansfield Temperview.
So it's El Paso. One of the El Paso teams is what I'm thinking of. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's Andress. So Abilene Wiley is playing El Paso Andress. And based on what I see on the scoreboard right now, we'll be playing one of those teams in a week.
So tell me about by district. So what does by district really mean in these playoffs?
It's a really good test for us this year. Typically, if you're a district champion and you go into by district game, it's not usually a very good game because you're playing a number 4 seed from another district, and most of the time that seed is not as strong as the district champions, or they would be the champions.
It's meant to be the 1 and 4, and the one is supposed to advance because it would be, I mean, for a lesser word, lame if the number 1 seed didn't advance.
Well, I think you want to reward success during the year, and that's what that does. So if you want that first round play against a team that's not nearly as tough as some others are, win your district.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then the by district, basically 2 districts trade off playing games with each other until one team advances, or I mean 2 teams are remaining from those by districts, by meaning 2 districts, then they play each other, and then you advance to area and regionals and furthermore.
So it looks like we're going to see a little bit more airing it out. This is not the strong point of their game. So just hopefully we can take care of business, get out of here healthy, and get ready for next week. The last thing you want to see on a game like this where you're in complete command with just a few minutes left is somebody go down on the field for either team.
For either team, yes. And both teams looking to, excuse me, stick with their fairly normal numbering and personnel, except for Israel Johnson, who is out on the defense covering on the right side as a defensive back. 1 extra lineman to give a little bit of strength. It's a screen play, and Israel Johnson is close to that tackle, and Brennan Williams will get credit for it.
Well, I just got the score sent to me. It's a final. Abilene Wiley has defeated El Paso Andress 46-10. Thank you to Kim Morgan for sending me that information. I appreciate that.
Shout out, Kim. So with the clock running, just about 1 play away from elapsing the 3-minute-to-go marker, if that's even a thing, as Bryce Abrams travels forward on the rush. They'll give him a yard. So there's the 3rd down. And now 3rd down, everybody in the world pretty much knows that it's going to start off with a pass attempt, and if it's not there, then it's going to be a Bodie Weaver scramble.
Absolutely. Be looking to get some of them yards now.
Once again, the H-back set up on the right side as there's the pass completed, and George Rogers with a shoulder tackle into the hip of the intended receiver, Blake Wendler, holds them to 4th down, and the punting unit for Colleyville will head out.
Yes, indeed. That, as they say, will probably be church.
The bells are ringing. Zay Gentry is lined up comfortably at the 30-yard line, and the punt will occur at about the 20. It does indeed, but my goodness.
Big kick. Gentry calls for the fair catch and makes it at the 22-yard line. Now we need to just hammer the ball.
So just to give a little bit of kicking appreciation, because we haven't seen a lot from Ryan Zuckert so far this game. He's a 4-star kicker / punter.
I believe 4, he might even be higher than that at this rate. The kid's really, really good.
Just really, really sought after, and he is a senior, so fair enough to see him continuing his football career after this with his, amazing kicking ability. You just saw it on that punt. That was from the 20. Zay was lined up at the 30, had to back all the way up to basically the 20 to get that. So going from 20 to 20 on a punt, that can be extremely valuable, of course, in just another situation.
Oh, my.
Edward Chumley bustling down the numbers. He crosses the 30, the 20, then the 10, then the plane. Edward Chumley with the final dagger in the coffin through the Panthers. 44-10, Coyotes are up. An 80-yard blast for Edward Chumley.
Well, I guess we're not just going to grind it out, then.
Yeah, I mean, last time we said grind it out, Ronald Bell exploded. And then
right.
Ronald Bell blew up again. And then Chumley blasted like it's everything.
But, I mean, you're running the ball, so that's what you're supposed to do in that situation. You gotta stop that run if you're them.
Okay, so this is the breakdown. So as this score currently stands, with whether or not the special teams for Colleyville is able to replicate some of their greatness, and Desmar Marquin makes them pay with the PAT, this is how it's set up. So Wiley and Andrus, you said that was a final, so Wiley won that game 46-10. They move on to the next game. And the reason I'm saying this, because the winner of this Anna Coyotes versus Colleyville Heritage Panther game will go on to play Wiley.
That's right. And so being as the next couple of games are El Paso teams and Abilene teams, this could be, next game could be Weatherford or something in the middle between Abilene and us. So you're looking at an hour and a half travel time where we end up going. Unless they decide to flip for it and play home, which I don't think Seth Parr is allowed to flip for things anymore. He'll own that.
Yeah. Yeah, and then if we're looking at some of the other parts of the bracket in terms of teams that are in our district, Lovejoy will go on to play Del Val on the other side, and it'll be Wiley versus whoever wins this game. Minute 42 remaining, Coyotes up 45-10. So Wiley and the winner of this game, and then Del Val versus Lovejoy, and the winner of those will play each other.
Yes.
Flag is thrown for extracurricular activities at the 35-yard line, and the body language of Joseph Nisbet does not look good.
No, pretty rough spot right there. I would say that's, yeah. It's hangdog look time now. But, and that's the first time we've seen a flag like that in this game, which I appreciate. I will say that this Heritage team, they're clearly well coached. They're disciplined, and their sportsmanship has been fantastic. You don't always see that in the first round of the playoffs, and I'm happy to see it here. That anytime I see a team that exhibits great sportsmanship like this, especially when you're down like this, that's a sign of coaching.
And great sportsmanship, there's a sign of great coaching in this whole game, too, because there have been only 5 penalties shared between both teams as we've gotten into the playoffs.
Wow, I did not know that.
In our first game, yeah.
That's crazy.
I believe there's been 2 on the Coyotes side. There was the 1 false start, this from Colleyville, so it might even be 4.
Yeah.
But still, under 5 penalties, that's really high level of disciplined football.
Absolutely. Like I said, that's how you win these games. You don't commit penalties, and you don't give the ball back.
Yeah, there it is. So there's the official confirmation. 4 penalties total in this game, and I believe that might have been the 5th.
Very impressive showing. Very impressive. Come in here. Our Coyote defense came in here against a team that runs the ball, and they run it well, and we handled that. And that was very impressive. I don't know how many rushing yards they have as a team, but I don't think they hit their average tonight.
Yeah, the Coyote offense so far on rushing had 174 on the night. These are unofficial as the game is not officially concluded, but it's 174 versus 73. The ball's come loose on Bryce Abrams' hands, and I believe he dived back on it.
Another flag. Now it's getting chippy.
Yeah, so
I spoke too soon. I'm sorry.
So I'm seeing Ansley. No, that's not Ansley. That's Rashad Bowden, excuse me. And one of the wide receivers were getting into some beef, I believe.
Frustration.
It's at the end of that play, though, so
Yeah.
we'll see how this affects it.
Well, he's going back to the line of scrimmage, so it'll either be 4 yards or it'll be 15 yards. We'll see.
Yeah, whatever half the
Looks like 4.
whatever
Yeah.
half the distance is.
Half the distance. Second and very long.
47 seconds remaining before the Coyotes move on in their first playoff game of 2024.
Third runners. Number 54 on the offense. After this is to go, third down.
For dramatic effect
I guess.
and suspense. So this ball will be snapped practically into the end zone for Colleyville Heritage. And the backup quarterback is in for Colleyville Heritage as, wow, another slam where Abrams gets put down. Excuse me, Abram, singular, gets put down. So in at quarterback is Dimitri Hudson for Colleyville Heritage. And Dimitri Hudson has
This will be his first action.
pretty much, yeah, first action in a good while. And that's the
That's good.
last
Yep.
play of the game as the play clock is lined up almost exactly with the game clock. 5 seconds away. Coyotes win their first playoff game in 2024 over Colleyville Heritage, 45-10.
They
And
also-
as they meet, sorry Pete, but as they meet over the middle of the field, you can't help but look at this team and look at all of the successes and wonder, is there really much to build on going into the next game?
I'd say absolutely. They have a few things they can clean up. The ball coming out, you can definitely eliminate any kind of fumbles. There's plenty of things to work on. But I think one thing we need to also make sure everybody remembers, this is our first ever 5A playoff game as a school, ever. And we handled our business. So to everybody before the year that said, you know, y'all get to 5A, you're about to learn about things. Well, we are learning about things.
So Colleyville had been reassigned, Anna had been realigned, and now Anna wins their first playoff game in 5A action, just like you said. Complete great service tonight from the Coyotes. 460 total yards of action from the Coyotes versus Colleyville's 187. Just below that, Zy Williams, 19 of 29 on the game for 300 yards, 1 touchdown and 1 interception. Going to this rushing side, Chumley owned the field.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just what he does. It's so amazing to me to see somebody that doesn't weigh 220 pounds, that seeks contact and breaks contact every time he gets there. It's a joy to watch him play.
Exactly, and Zyondre Williams as well had 13 carries for 105 yards, so he relatively hit his average. He had the last touchdown of the game. Ronald Bell, 5 catches. You ready for this? 131 yards on only 5 catches. One touchdown. Ashton Ansley, 5 catches for 74 yards. Michael Kennedy, 2 catches for 41 yards. And Ace Trailer, 3 catches for 21 yards. Offense hit it off, and the defense did an amazing job as well.
Absolutely. I just was watching out on the field. They just gave them their bi-district championship ball, and it is definitely gold ball hunting season. So that's 1. We just need 5 more.
Right.
All the way to the state championship.
So coming up next week will be Wiley.
Abilene Wiley.
Abilene Wiley.
Yes.
So that's right. And there needs to be a distinction because Wiley is its own,
Definitely, yeah.
city.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So once again, Coyotes route this one 45-10 as we are trying to have y'all see our pearly whites out here in Mustang Panther Stadium. We're going to let the Coyotes play their school song.
Nash, I'll tell you, I'm excited to get back tonight because it's what I do every Friday night after the game. I go back, I watch the game again, and then I try to find something. I'm going to look for something on Abilene Wiley. I saw one of their games earlier.
Yeah.
Good football team, really good football team. They fly around on defense, really, really fast on defense. So it'll be an interesting change because these guys were pretty stationary defensively as far as staying in their areas where they're supposed to maintain. So we won't be seeing that again next week if Abilene Wiley plays to form.
Yeah, and this defense, this Colleyville Heritage defense, really showed out tonight. Throughout the whole season, they had 23 takeaways on the whole season, which is the most that Anna has gone up against. Anna's only had 12. Now, with a fumble recovery and an interception, I believe that's 14.
Right.
So now 14 total interceptions, or I should just say turnovers.
Right.
For the Coyotes, as we are still trying to get things set up here. So we will go ahead and let Colleyville play their school song. And here we are. We are here inside Mustang Panther Stadium. Nash Lowry, Pete Kane here with you on the call tonight. Great stuff from the Anna Coyotes. 45-10 final score. Pete, was the storyline the offense, the defense, or was it both?
I think it's both, but I think the defense really stepped up tonight. They did what they had to do. We're playing a running team. They really had to bear down and get the job done, and I think they did.
Yeah, they really did. They worked over the struggles in the first part of the game. I mean, it was 10-3 at halftime, which the Coyotes have not been held to that little points throughout the whole entire season, and they still were able to find their way out of that, even though Zai had thrown an interception early.
Right. Yeah, the early pick could have been a problem, but they fought right through it. Zai got composed, got himself back in order, and did what he had to do as well. They, like I said early on, any turnovers in playoff football is a problem, and they saw that tonight. I mean, one of them ended up a touchdown, the other one ended up a field goal. Turnovers kill you.
Yeah, there you go. And the Coyotes limited theirs really well. After that first turnover, no more throughout the rest of the game. So thank you guys so much for joining us on Coyote Vision. For all of our Coyote Vision crew, for Pam Lowry, our spotter tonight, for Mr. Pete Kane, thank you, sir, for the good call tonight. I am Nash Lowry. Thank you guys so much for watching. Coyotes win 45-10 tonight, and join us next week as the Coyotes go on the road again for some more playoff action. Good night.
Good night.